Hello my friends. I'm going to show you how I install cove molding in the upper portion in my kitchen. I've already turned Finials for the corner blocking, and that's what the cove molding is going to go up against. It'll butt up against it. The molding that I'm using, it comes already primed. I have already painted this, and it's measuring 3 5/8 across, so it's probably considered a 4-inch cove molding. Okay. I cut a test block. This is going to go up in the corner, and I cut it so that I can measure the dimensions so that it will work. Okay, this piece measures 3 inches across the flat, right here. Okay, now when that block is up in the corner, that's going to hold my casing so that I'll have a perfect profile, perfect angle. When it's up there, I won't be guessing at the angle. Also gives me plenty of nailing, and I can see where these blocks are. It should make it real easy to locate for shooting the casing onto the blocking. I'm also going to glue these as I put them up. The glue will hold and glue onto the face that the casing will be attached to. When you're ripping a long board, and you're working by yourself, you don't have, when not having someone to catch your workpiece, I'm going to show you how I cut or rip a board safely, and this is when I'm using cutting something that's really long. The board that I'm using is not that long, but I'm going to show you the technique for a long board. Also, when you set your saw blade, you don't want to have the blade real high, because that gives a little bit more danger with your cutting. You should typically have the blade to come up through the workpiece about 3/4 of an inch. The higher the blade is, the less resistance it makes for the cutting. So you have this angle. If you go real high, the angle is more vertical, so you have less of the saw blade that's in contact with the workpiece. So a general rule is about 3/4 of an inch above your workpiece that you're cutting. When you get to where the board wants to start tipping, lift it out of the cut. Flip it over, cut from the other side. There you have it. Safe way to rip when you're working by yourself. After I cut a 45-degree end on my blocking, I'm going to scribe a line, draw a line at 45, and I'm going to use that to be able to set my stop block. So I'll bring my saw blade down, bring it right up to the line, move my stop block up, and lock that in. Now we make a test cut and measure it, see if we're okay. measuring exactly 3 inches. The width of the block, the height of the block is 1.5 inches. So that should work. Then all that we do next is make repetitive cuts. Flip the block, bring it to the stop. Now hold the saw down when you finish the cut, because the way the block is setting, it can flip it out. And there's our blocks. Perfect size. Now we just need to make a few dozen of those. This finished block, if you're working in your corner of your ceiling is not crisp. Now I did not spackle the corner, so I can use this sharp edge. But if you did do a fillet, you want to have this come short, kind of like that, so that would allow the inside corner to be able to bend and fit and not have this block go in and be wobbly. So to do that, what you want to do is cut this a little bit narrower, and then measure your face and make that exactly the same, which would be right in there. So I'm going to then reset my stop block for this 3-inch face. So I need to have a reference line. Make that flush. There's my reference line. Now you can see the flat. Now I'll readjust my stop block. And right there, we want to remove the line. I just saw some movement. I'm going to double check. That would have been an error. Reset. Stop block set. Make a cut. Check the cut. See if it's okay. There we have it. Now that can fit in a round corner and have the same face to nail to. Putting a little adhesive on the blocks. And starting in the corner. And shooting those in. That'll hold it until it glue cures. And then I measured every 16 inches. down the whole ceiling that way. Here's the finished cove and finial corner blocks. And all that has to be done now, can't see much in that corner, is a little bit of putty and touch up with the paint. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.